Hello and welcome to another episode of Zero BS Estate Agency, brought to you by the Zero BS Estate Agency newsletter, your weekly dose of actionable insights for buyers, sellers and agents who refuse to settle for anything less than excellence. In this episode, we're thrilled to be joined by renowned agent David Warburton of Burton James. David is here to share a masterclass in elite level estate agency, revealing the secrets to maximising home value through data-driven pricing, captivating marketing and a relentless focus on honesty and authenticity. Now, whether you're a buyer looking to beat your competition, a seller seeking to get the best return on your investment, or an agent striving to be more than just a commission-driven salesperson, you do not want to miss David's invaluable insights. So sit back, take notes, and get ready to elevate your property game. And don't forget to subscribe to Zero BS Estate Agency newsletter for your weekly dose of no-nonsense, actionable advice that will transform the way you approach the property market. So David, what is the one thing that truly maximises the value of someone's home when they go to sell their property?
Okay, John, for me, it's a variety of things. I'm going to be dead honest with you. I don't think there's any one perfect answer to that, in all honesty. But what I think is critical to any property listing and any property sort of experience that you can have with a vendor or a vendor has with the agent, initially is honesty and authenticity from the agent. You've got to get the price right for the market that you are in. Otherwise, you're just going to waste weeks, months sat there. And ultimately, it all starts from that. If you get that part of it wrong, then you are on a slippery slope.
So let's say now,
many times over the years.
Yeah, right. So imagine now, right? I'm an agent that wants to be more than just an estate agent listening to this, or I'm a seller listening to this. How can a seller distinguish what honesty looks like? Because ultimately we want to believe the human being standing in front of us.
Yeah.
And if you've got three human beings, which is generally the norm, right? Three agents, how do we know which human being is actually being honest and truthful versus somebody that's saying things that sound nice?
So I actually think this part of it depends who you are, right? But this part of it, in my opinion, should be relatively straightforward for an agent, and they should make it straightforward for the client. So I always say to the people I speak to and the people I work with, when I go to a valuation, I quickly tell the client, I educate them on the process. So, you'll have heard Perry Power in particular. He always goes on about it's not a valuation. It is for him, he calls it an advice meeting. And I think he's absolutely spot on. And I think it's about educating the client initially, because estate agents are not necessarily there to value your property. They are there to market your property and help you get it sold. The market itself values the home, and ultimately the valuation is subjective. It's only worth what someone's prepared to pay. Everybody's heard that saying before. Now, can the amount that someone pays be influenced? Of course it can. Powerful negotiation, amazing marketing, but arriving at the right guide price is more systematic. And I think that every single estate agent needs to do their research first of all. So as an example, I went to a house just last week that had been on the market last year for 4 months without a single viewing, with another agent that did really poor marketing, to be honest with you. So that's the first thing you'd always look at when you go and see an agent. Forget the price just for one moment. Let's see how it looks. Can it be improved? But secondly, they were on at £1.65 million. They hadn't had a single viewing. It was on a really nice acre plot. It's 5,000 square feet. It's got loads bags of potential. It's quite a sought after location. However, they were asking for £400 per square foot, when the average selling price in the area was £330 a square foot, 340,000 square foot. So when you demonstrate this in a certain way, so I'm really going to a load of detail on my valuations. I'm about to prep for a couple today after this podcast, and it'll probably take me a good 30 minutes at the very least, just to go through the latest data and have a look at what the current pound per square foot is in the entire area. what the current pound per square foot is for that type of property. So whether it's a large semi-detached or whether it's a detached. But also let's look at some historical data. What detached homes like this have sold in the last 12 months? And what were they selling for? So I'm giving them three different prices there. So average pound per square foot in the area overall, average pound per square foot for a detached home, and then average pound per square foot for a detached home in the last 12 months. And if you take your old trusty best price guide with you as well, and you look at stuff that's out there on the market at the moment that isn't selling, you can quickly arrive at the same scenario. So for this particular property, we looked at it and said, well, because what is one thing that vendors always say to you? They'll always say, well, that one up the road's on for X, and mine's got a better bathroom or more bathrooms or whatever it is. And you say, yeah, but it's not selling. It isn't selling. And you can list 4 or 5 of them. And this is what I did with this couple last week. Listed 5 really nice houses that weren't selling, and they all had one thing in common. They were all 380 to 400 pounds a square foot, which was at least 15% over what the things were selling for. Now, when we looked at this gentleman's property, the range based on what I've just told you, so the overall average pound per square foot for the whole area, and then maybe the maximum average for a detached home in that area, the range was somewhere between 1.1 million and 1.4 million. I said, that's where your property sits. I'm not telling you it's worth 1.1 to 1.4. The market's telling me that. You might want 1.5 million. I might think it's 1.3 million. Honestly, it doesn't matter because that's the subjective part. That's what what is someone prepared to pay? So if your house is immaculate, it's got incredible bathrooms and it's got incredible kitchens and it's got loads of acres that are in manicured gardens, perfectly looking, then somebody might pay an extra couple of 100,000 at this end of the market. But if they need to replace all 6 bathrooms, put an extension on, knock it through, etc., etc., the subjective part might be they're only going to pay you 1.1 million because they need to spend 300,000 doing all that work. So it's very, very subjective when it comes to the valuation. And I always say in every valuation, your estate agent can only control 3 things. One is the quality of the marketing. 2 is the exposure that your marketing receives. And 3 is the communication throughout this whole process. That is it. That's all your agent can control. Beyond that, it's all about the market. And what your agent needs to do is have a set of balls, tell you this from day one, not what you want to hear, and then keep you up to date throughout this process. And a lot of people I speak to will say to me, "Oh, I've got stock on the market that's sticking. What can I do to change things?" And I almost want to say you need to get a DeLorean and go back in time and have a look at what you did from day one. Because if you've set the scene, then this conversation should be so much easier further down the line.
Yeah.
Um,
You're
you know,
sorry to cut in on you, David. Just
all
you
right.
brought up a good point, right? Uh, we're going to come onto your marketing because I'm going to ask you why you do the marketing you do. Because honestly, and I think I've told the entire world this is the bottom line. This is the standard. This is the minimum standard, right? We're going to come onto that in a second. But one of the things that come up because of your marketing that sort of popped a question into my head is Mr. or Mrs. Agent, the property, this is now a valuation or advice meeting, as Perry Powell calls it. The property's now been on, hypothetically speaking, for the last 4 or 5 weeks. We've had no viewings, right? Or viewings with no feedback. You are not allowed to price reduce. What are you doing? And going back to what you just said about having a DeLorean, that's exactly right, because good agents see the punches coming well before they land, and they're able to mold and shape the perfect sale well before they land. And that's why that's one of the questions I've said in one of my recent TikToks is to ask the agent that, what is it? And the answer is not, the answer is no, we're not even going to get to that place because we've already done everything we needed to do because of seeing those punches coming.
Yeah, 100%. I actually always say to clients as well, even when I go to see them and they're on the market with someone else, you should never need to change estate agent ever. Because, in reality, let's be honest, properties go on Rightmove, they'll go on Zoopla, they'll go on the market. At certain ends of the market, I get maybe super prime and things like that. your clients are not looking on Rightmove. It's a bit of a different market. But for most segments of the market, the majority of houses will go on to Rightmove. But there are other things that you can do to generate interest in properties. Like we sold one a few weeks ago on Facebook. We obviously you're going to come onto it, but we go to certain lengths of their videos, and we have a pre-launch strategy as well. So it doesn't just go straight onto Rightmove and wait, get it all done and go onto Rightmove. We've got quite a systematic pre-launch strategy. This one was pre-launched into all the Facebook groups. A lady contacted me the night before, sorry, on the same evening, and said, I need to see this house. I've offered on something else, but I've seen yours. I need to see it tomorrow. Can I see it? I'm going away on Sunday. She probably wasn't, but she got me. So I said, yeah, of course, I'll take you tomorrow. So I took her around. It was perfect for her. And she paid 30 grand over the asking price to stop it going on Rightmove. So things like that do really work. But I always say to clients, like I say, you should never need to change agents, because if they've done everything right from day one, if your house looks incredible and it's exposed in all the right areas, and they've constantly been in touch with you, and they're reporting this market data to you, and telling you what you need to hear in this climate, then there's not much more that can be done. I've got a client who's been on the market with me for 1 year, and people, you'd think I'd avoid telling people that, because you'd think, oh, he's not embarrassed, he's not sold it. And the truth is, I'm not. Is it ideal having a client that's been on that long? No, it's not. But it's a very unique home, and it's testament. I always say it's testament to me and my team that this guy's stuck with us, because he acknowledges that the marketing couldn't look any better. So he's getting agents contacting him all the time through the post, the usual, we've got buyers waiting. And I always say to him, well, if they've got buyers waiting, please tell them to bring them round. You tell them to bring them round, and I promise you I'll step aside. They can have the fee. It's not a problem. But I promise you, as soon as you ask them to bring the buyers round, they'll disappear. They just want online exclusivity. And the question I would ask is, can they make it look better on the same platforms? And the answer is no. Are you happy with the social media exposure we're giving you? Yes. Are you happy that we're registering people in your area regularly enough? Yes. Are you confident in my ability to understand what's going on in the market? Am I feeding that back to you? Do you know what's going on? Yes. And I'm saying to him, right, well, why won't you reduce your price 50 grand then? And he just says, well, I don't want to. I just don't want to. And that's his prerogative. I've told him prices have been dropping. You might miss the boat. He's just not bothered. That's just where he's at. He's abroad. And it's a bit of a pain. I'm not going to lie. But testament to the team that he's fully informed. He's up to date.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that speaks massive, massive, massive volumes, because obviously the guy trusts you. Yeah, trusts you enough. And also as well, what you've actually done, in my opinion, is raised his personal status. And so I learned something very early on when I used to listen to Million Dollar Agent, back when I first became an agent, 2005. And Tom Panos and John McGrath said, it's not the promise of a price that achieves best results, it's the process. So, and I'm like, absolutely fucking true every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Now that comes nicely onto your marketing. Right. Anyone listening to this right now, just type in David Warburton. Yeah. Just go on his website, watch his videos. Yeah. I know he's got a friend, but also a nemesis that also creates some wonderful videos too, called James Kendall.
Oh, I love Jim.
Right. But honestly, the holy grail of, and this isn't just the marketing that David does, by the way, but this is a core element of it. Honestly, it is on par with Grand Designs or George Clark's Tiny Homes, or something that you will find on Channel 4 about a property program. Holy fuck, they are incredible. Why do you go to the level that you go to with these videos?
Because so again, it comes a little bit down to what it comes back to what we just spoken about in a way. First of all, I think they help sell the homes. Your job as an estate agent is to sell the home for the client and get the best possible price. And there are things that you can do to make houses stand out. And you'll have had it yourself before, John. If you go into a viewing, not everybody can envisage what a house could or should look like. So I like to get into the detail and show what every single property has that makes it stand out against its competition. So, I think the one that first captured your eye was it was just an extended 4-bedroom semi. It wasn't anything majorly spectacular. It was a really nice house. And we were asking in my area 575 for it, which is for people listening down south, they're gonna they're gonna be laughing at that. But it was a 2,000 square foot house, and on this street they all sell for 450, 500. Now I had mine at 575. Now it's bigger than everything else. The views are incredible, and it had so much appeal at the back of the house, and I really wanted to get that across. So we just wanted to get the drones up and just make it look very cinematic. And that's one of the things they need to engage people, particularly on social media, because it's another great avenue to sell homes. And if it's just the same boring shit that people put out, just a camera on a mobile phone going around a home, they're just not watchable. They're not engaging. I saw one from somebody in our area recently, and it's 12 minutes long, and it's just on his mobile phone. He's talking over the top of it, and his hands kind of pointing at stuff. You don't ever see him. So I just find that it needs to be engaging to capture your audience, and don't be afraid to address negatives in homes. Because people see it. People see small kitchens and dated rooms and things like that. Talk about it, but excitedly talk about the potential that it offers. And people see your passion on screen. So that's why I do it. And I've got some very talented videographers that work with me, and we're just always trying to raise the bar each time we do a video. And funnily enough, you mentioned like a Channel 4 production. That's how I sell it to my client and say, this is not a standard walk around mobile. It's going to be, if you were sat down on a sofa right now, you would feel like you were watching a TV show, and that's your home on TV.
When your videos come up, when I see them come up on Facebook, and that's also good as well, right? Because I'm seeing them, and I'm in Marlow, which is 35 miles west of London, so I'm actually viewing those properties too. But when I watch it from the first second to the end, and do you know what I do?
Go on.
I watch it again.
No way.
Yeah. And after I've watched it again, I then go straight on WhatsApp, copy the link, and I start sending it to other agents I know, and saying, this is the minimum. This is the minimum, the absolute minimum, because you take people on a journey. And so a lot of people would say, yeah, but these videos are just for the sellers. No, they're not. No, they're absolutely not just for the sellers. They are there, in my opinion. That is so for a buyer, imagine you're a buyer, you're about to buy that home. And by the way, colleague at work or friend in the pub, or, somebody that is in the family, the bank of mum and dad, look at this house that we are putting an offer in. My God.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. There's a few things there actually to unpack. So if you, as a seller, the sellers absolutely love them because it's their home. Some of them say it's a memento. Some of them, the comment you always get is, "Oh, I'd buy it myself," or "I want to stay in it now." So that's great for them, and they can obviously share it. It's engaging. Buyers love them. There was one that I did in an area called Little Lever, where I live, and it was just I was selling it for a friend actually, and it's an end terrace, just an end cottage, and it was a refurb that was okay, but it had a nice piece of land next to it. And what I did was, as I came out through the conservatory, stood outside that and said, look, just trying to put ideas in people's head that look at the size of this plot. At the moment, it's a fantastic garden that catches the sun all day. So if you're a small family or a first time buyer, this is going to be great for sitting out and chilling out and having a few beers in the garden in the summer. It's also ripe for extension. So could you maybe extend it and have an even bigger family space in there? Maybe create additional parking. But are you a developer? Could you build a house on here? It's that big. Da, 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 da. So you're just giving ideas. And the person that bought that said, I bought it because you said there was huge development opportunity there. And basically she is in fact, there's another one. Let me go on to that one in a sec. But she basically said, I feel like I can develop the property in the future and add value to it. And she paid well over asking price to get that. And that's another thing. She can see the potential. Have I got time for another one, John? Dead quick.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's another one, and if people are listening and want to go and look at it, it's called Bolton Road West, a video that I did on that. And this was a corker because it got picked up by our local newspaper, Manchester Evening News, as the property of the week for Manchester, which was really nice. And I was thinking, this is great, really nice publicity for me. And anyway, some Karen on Facebook took it, put it onto the local Facebook group, and said, "What the hell has happened to property prices in Ramsbottom? This is an absolute rip-off." And it was on at like 625,000, I think it was, which is just, it is insane for that particular area. But once again, going back to valuation, pound per square foot works. It's an incredible finish by the developer. And the subjective part was somebody was prepared to pay a premium for that finish. So I really wanted to highlight the fact that you've got a cinema room downstairs or a potential cinema room downstairs, and the finish is so high. You've got amazing views, etc., etc. Anyway, next to it was a derelict piece of land owned by the same developer selling this house. And all these Karens could see was a horrible piece of land, etc. But what they didn't realize was that the person that bought this and paid a huge premium for it was they were a young couple who were about to start having children. This house was big and they wanted to raise the family in it for the first few years, and they were going to corner off all this land and make it into a garden, but they worked in construction. So they looked at that extra 100 grand they'd paid and said, we'll get the planning permission and build that out, and we'll have two £500,000 houses. So to them, the value was in what they could do with it. And all these shitty Karens on Facebook who haven't got a clue just think it's an overpriced piece of real estate. But by talking about that and getting it across on video, it just opens the sector up to new buyers.
And that's the difference between your elite level agent and an agent just trying to win a listing.
Yeah,
Because actually you're not just seeing the house, there is massive potential in it. And sometimes when an agent says, oh, loads of potential, oh, I really can't trust that. Actually, you're seeing or envisioning the perfect buyer for the perfect scenario, which is that. So absolutely all day long.
Yeah, and do you know what? You've made a really good point there. That's another thing on valuations when you go in. I ask when I do the walk around, I ask a lot of questions, and they'll often see me sort of my eyes at the top of my head like that as I'm walking around. And I'm making notes as I walk around my valuation as well. And then when we sit down, I always say to them, I'm thinking as I go around, who's buying this house? How can I market this home? And to me, this is another thing that's powerful about video. You'll see a lot of it actually, because a lot of people like the open plan spaces, don't they? Kitchen, dining room, family rooms. I like to do my little intro at the front, maybe get the drones out and things like that. And then once I've done my intro, it's speed ramp into the main room in the house to show it off, rather than just walking around, 3 minutes in, eventually you get to the kitchen. You need to get in there and really show it off. So that's another important part when I'm always saying on my valuations, I need to think about who's going to be living in this house. Because one of my favorite sayings that I use every evaluation is, we're no longer selling your home, we're selling your buyer's next home. So you need to detach yourself from it, depersonalize, declutter, and then we need to style it to the type of buyer that's going to buy this home. So forget how you live in it. Let's style it for the type of buyer that's going to buy yours. And let's make a video that's so attractive to that target market that they can't ignore it. And that's why I go to town on the videos. But if you're an agent listening to this and you don't do them to this sort of level, it's just an astonishing advert for you. And it's just helped me grow my business massively over the years. There's different variations on it. I love Tanya Baker's videos. I think they're brilliant. She's nailed the reel and how she does it. She's very clever with it. There's a few agents out there. You mentioned James Kendall. He's brilliant. I love James. Ian Story's another one. Brilliant guys. There's loads of them doing great videos, great work. But for me personally, I enjoy it, and I like to try and take it to the next level on each one.
David Warburton, thank you, mate, so much for coming on this podcast. I'm so pleased that we've been able to do this. Your insights are incredible. And yeah, agents, if you're listening to this, especially sellers, pounds per square footage. Per square footage. That is exactly how you're going to know where the value sits.
Game changer. That it's a game changer. It's astonishing that not many people use it. But yeah, get into the detail on your valuations. And remember, the key for me is you're not valuing the house, the market is. That's one tip I'd give John actually. When you go into a valuation, if you say, I think it is worth 1.2 million, they will hold you to that. Whereas if you say the market suggests it's worth between 1.1 and 1.4, it's not you valuing it, the market's valuing it. And you can almost say it later on down the line, well, look, Market's changed. Market now says 900 to 1.1. What do you want me to do? That kind of thing. But that's the
Well,
best way.
actually, because on for me, when I'm speaking to a seller, I'm always going for the second sale. So what I won't do is go to a property with only my own listings and how well I'm doing. And I will say things like, oh yeah, so we've got this property being marketed for this, which matches the prices on Rightmove and Zoopla and on the market. And I'm marketing this one and I'm marketing this one and I'm marketing. I don't do that. I go, right, this is the one that I've sold, similar to yours. This is what it's marketed for. This is what we sold it for. This is what we marketed for. This is what we sold it for across all of the ones that I've done similar to the property that I'm currently standing there having Perry Powell's advice meeting, right? But I'm doing that because I know what the other agents are going to do. They are going to say, right, so we marketed this one, and this is another one with marketing, another one with marketing. But I take their properties as well, and I say, right, this is what agent X marketed as a property similar to yours for. This is what they sold for. This is another one that they marketed. This is what they sold for. So I'm not saying I'm the latest and greatest and I'm the best. I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to interview the seller as much as the seller thinks they're interviewing me. So then I'm working it out. Actually, is this seller going to make me ill? Or is this a seller, actually, do you know what? They're open up to ideas and suggestions and go, actually, right, that sounds like a great plan. Let's move forward. If they're like, no, I want what I want. And I'm like, I cannot go, the market is just not going to go anywhere near that. I can't support that. Then I will go for the second sale and always say, look, my door is wide open if things don't work out. But
100%.
What I can't do, though, is guarantee you the money I'm telling you I can get you now if you go with the other agent at the prices they're suggesting. So that's all I'm going to say on that one, Mr. or Mrs. Seller. And often when they come back, and unfortunately they've missed the boat, it didn't work. The agent didn't do everything they said they were going to do. They didn't deliver on their promises. There's no results. When they do come back, I'm like, do you remember I told you 400 grand and I would be struggling to get it if you came back to me? Well, that's where we are right now. Is that okay? But at least they've experienced what shit looks like. So then they can absolutely trust me moving forward, which is what we need. Because ultimately, like you said in the beginning, honesty is everything.
Honesty, integrity, stick to your guns. If you know you're confident on that price because the market's valuing it and not you, stick to it. Dead quick. I had an agent contact me 2 days ago. He just had a rant on a voice note. That's all, saying, "Oh, Dave, I'm gutted. I lost this valuation. It's on a great street, great road. They wanted a bit much for it, but I'm just gutted. I didn't win it." And he said to me, "I even went in at 1%." I went, "Oh, gee, okay, I won't say his name." And so I sent him a message. I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I know, but I just really wanted it." He said, "The problem you've got is you've told me that you know it's overpriced, they're going out at the wrong price, and you've dropped your pants on the fee. So all that's going to happen is now, in 3 months' time, when it's not sold and they come back to you because they know you're the best, you've dropped your pants. You can't say all of a sudden, now I'm 0.5% or 1% more." Yeah. I'm like, you just stick to your guns. Sometimes you can't win them all. It's spot on that. And a great tip that Ian Story gave me, he when he loses a listing, he goes out gracefully, a few expletives privately to other people, but he goes out gracefully in front of the vendor. No problem. Good luck with it. If anything changes, let me know. And as soon as the agent lists it, he's got the audacity to share the agent's listing on his own social medias.
Love that.
I love that as well. I really love it. He does it, and he says that no one can get mad at him. Like, the agent can't get mad because he shared their listing. The client's just,
what are you advertising my property for?
Exactly.
What the fuck are you advertising?
Yeah, and he said the client loves it, obviously, because he's showing that he's still trying to help them sell, and he knows that in the next few months, if that doesn't sell, straight back to him at his full 2% fee.
Absolutely, man.
Bosh.
Love it. Absolutely bosh. Right, mate, thank you. I could talk to you all bloody day about this. This is wicked, but I know you got your valuation / advice meetings that you need to prepare for. Thank you again. Looking forward to getting this out on the socials, because this is pounds per square foot is a must listen.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate it. And I've followed you for a while, John, and it's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
As we wrap up this insightful podcast with David Warburton, it's clear that his commitment to excellence, data-driven decision-making and an unwavering honesty is truly transforming the estate agency landscape Through his cinematic marketing approach, laser-focused pricing strategies, and the ability to uncover a property's hidden potential, David is not only delivering exceptional results for his clients, but also raising the bar for an entire industry. Now, if you're a buyer, a seller, or an agent who wants to break free from the status quo and achieve remarkable outcomes, make sure to subscribe to the Zero BS Estate Agency newsletter. Every week, I'll bring you the latest tips, tactics, and insights from industry leaders like David, giving you the edge you need to succeed in today's competitive property market. Remember, settling for anything less than elite level service that David provides is simply unacceptable. Embrace his strategies and apply his principles, and watch your property journey transform before your very eyes.